Hello and welcome to a breaking news episode of Wake and Jake. It was the scheduled time, but there was news. Ranger Suarez signs with the Boston Red Sox, kid. Last we saw you, Jared Carrabis was on the show talking about what are the Red Sox going to do. Well, they make their first move. Their first move, they traded for Sonny Gray. Wilson Contreras, we'll talk about it. Red Sox kind of having an offseason again, how quickly the tides turn, and with the potential to do a lot more. We'll see how much they go from their depth, their outfielders we've heard about from a long time. The Ranger Suarez value of the contract. Now there's like 4.5 impact free agents left, depending how you're looking at your season. There will be more Yankee tears because they still haven't done anything. And now another AL East divisional opponent has. So with that, there's also other baseball news. I can give you a little Nolan Arenado trade. The Yankees did make a trade for Ryan Weathers, which bad time to talk about this probably, / tune into Talking Yanks later, because that move probably won't be getting the love that it would have if it was a November transaction, and that's part of our processing process. Look at that. Same word, back-to-back, different endings. Ranger Suarez is a Boston Red Sox. I was wondering, I threw Framber out there a couple times. Both of these guys have that quote-unquote dog in them. Look at the X-ray. Framber has been as consistent as a pitcher kind of can be at the major league level. Previously with some good postseason outings. I know he's had some lackluster ones recently. Ranger Suarez was kind of considered, and in a way it's going to be interesting to see how the contracts land, a Framber light, a Framber with a little bit of injury history. We've done this. His starts per year, this is Ranger Suarez, the new Boston Red Sox. He had 26 last year, 27, 22, and 29. Some low threes, the high is a 4.18. That's in 2023. Last year, 26 starts at 3.2. I mean, that is a bona fide 2, a great 3. And I think Boston slots him in the 2 spot, or him and Sonny Gray, seeing who can have the better year next year. Behind Garrett Crochet, who is one of the best pitchers in baseball. We would talk about Garrett Crochet a lot more if Tarek Skubal did not exist. And the thing that's jumped off the map to me, and I wanted to matter, was Ranger Suarez has an amazing postseason resume. And I get small sample size. I get Clayton Kershaw probably got too much guff for his postseason performance when the emphasis should have been on him being, the best pitcher of our generation. But postseason is supposed to matter. That's the whole deal. That you're telling me that Ranger Suarez in 22, 23, 24, and 25 was peaking at the same time every season? I don't know, man. Sometimes you got to give credit where credit's due, and this guy has that X-ray, that meme you might have sent or had sent to you, he's got that dog in him that I love the move for whatever team got this guy. The Boston Red Sox to slot him in their rotation. This closes off their rotation for me. We were doing some of this discussion, and we can talk more about the lineup. And hey, if this is the only Red Sox move, I still think that fan base isn't necessarily head over heels, as we discussed. Crochet, Suarez, Gray, and Bello. Bello had a 3.35 in 28 starts last year. He seemed to take a jump. That is if we went around and did healthy top 4s around the league, I think the Red Sox end up in some conversations, which when's the last time we said that about a Boston Red Sox staff, kid? Johan Oviedo, some potential there. People forget they traded for him from Pittsburgh. And this just makes their rotation feel like it's the depth you need to compete at the major league level. Patrick Sandoval, not Pablo Sandoval. Patrick Sandoval will be coming off elbow surgery. He should be available for this year. And they have some guy like Kyle Harrison is 24 years old. He has still some real potential as a pitcher. Connolly Early, daily and nightly. Peyton Tolley, we saw him get the call. What you want from a major league pitching depth going into the season, the Boston Red Sox now have that. if you want to start comparing the Red Sox rotation to some of the best in the league, everyone feels like they come short to the Dodgers. Man, maybe we will bop around and see who goes toe-to-toe with these guys, because that is strong, and it's what's next. This doesn't get rid of the Bregman cloud, IMO, as someone who likes the opposing team. But, man, they could change the whole feeling on this very quickly, although they could also send it in a negative way. If they traded away Jarren Duran, depending what they get back, I don't know if that makes anyone feel better, unless that's like Ketel Marte. Got myself scared there. Ranger Suarez, 5 for 130 was kind of around what the projections were. I know closer towards spring training, BBD has been keeping the stats of our free agency over-under episode that I like. I think it's a fun game. We're right around 500 right now, 5-4.
Yeah, I believe we declared 14 of them were like, these are the predictions that count before we started to get to like guys who are projected for like 2-year deals. And you're 5-5 on the ones that have come out so far. So 4 left to go. Tucker, Bichette, and Belly, and Framber. I skipped him.
Right. Okay, so those keeping track at home, we are. Let's hope we get on the winning side of things. Oh, that was the Yankees' frustration groan. I don't think we're ready to go there yet. I think we are ready to go to Fabletics. Hello, people. I and Big Baby David went to see a show at Carnegie Hall last night. Bernie Williams and Jonathan Tetelman. You're probably saying, Jake, this isn't part of the Fabletics read. You're right, but my whole outfit was. That's right. BBD doesn't even know this part. I wore a nice white collared, tucked-in shirt last night. Fabletics. Comfortable. Wore it all day. The pants. Fabletics.
I noticed the pants.
I mean, I went to a classy event. Some of the outfits. I was keeping up with the Joneses last night. And today, and showing you the range of Fabletics, I'm wearing, joggers? That's the new term, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing Fabletics joggers. So back-to-back days, Fabletics on my legs. That's not in the read. And what Fabletics is amazing for, become a VIP with them, and you get hooked up. I mean, we're talking like 80% type deals. I was talking to Rob Scirocco before this. He's like, yeah, dude, I tooled up with Fabletics. He didn't say tooled up. I phrased it that way. And like I said, exclusively for listeners of this show, 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP. So head over to fabletics.com/bakers. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select Bakers when prompted to unlock your 80% off. Fabletics.com/bakers. Trying to be as real with you guys as possible. Fabletics has become a chunk of the foundation of my wardrobe. If that's what you need or are looking for, go check out Fabletics. Okay, let's see what else I need to do with Boston, and maybe I'll dream big and then dream small. Okay, the Boston Red Sox, who their front office was kind of under criticism from their fan base, and it was the question I ended with Jared Carrabis, is how can you feel good about this? He threw out Bichette, which I think in an honest moment as a fan, if you're expecting Alex Bregman and you get Bo Bichette, you go, okay, Bichette's a little younger, maybe he's going to hit more, put him at second base, that's fine. We'll figure it out with Bo Bichette. Now that they've signed Ranger Suarez, I don't think they're ruled out for Bo Bichette. Like, Red Sox, this is what we're talking about, and this was kind of the crazy part with some of the lingering free agents of the offseason. Boston could still put chips on the table. If you had told Red Sox fans before the offseason, you could get Wilson Contreras, Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, and Bo Bichette. And what did they give up? Nothing. No offense to the players in the Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras offers, but those were notably salary dumps. So you got 2 contributing players, your 3 starter and your first baseman who's currently slotted to bat cleanup. And then you would get, your 2 starter and Ranger Suarez. Again, the Bo Bichette daydream is a steps away, but this Boston offseason is starting to feel a little different. I guess what I'm trying to dream up of is how could they do another impact move between Yoshida, currently listed on their bench, Tristan Casas, who I don't think they have to do anything. I think it's, hey, kid, we think you're all sorts of talented. You've had some weird injuries. Hey, maybe an injury starts camp off. Again, knock on wood. I don't wish injury even on my nemesis opponent. But they just happen in this sport, in every sport, that, Wilson Contreras trips over a baseball bat running to first, and Tristan Casas is your opening day first baseman. So, that doesn't have to be a stress point for Boston. I do think if you have a Yoshida or, you're not benching Roman Anthony, you're not benching Duran, you shouldn't be benching Wheelier, who's got, maybe better stats than Duran, depending how you chop up the numbers recently. You think there is something to be done there. They love Rafaela's defense, and I do too, and I think that kid's bat plays better in big situations than the stat page would tell you it does. The Red Sox could still do, I guess the only position that jumps off the page right now is second base. It's currently listed as Romy Gonzalez. Romy mashed lefties last year. I don't know how he feels as a second baseman. In the small sample I saw, I didn't see that. That being said, him, Sogard, and Nate Eaton all kind of did some damage versus lefties last year. Is that getting redundant? Or, again, something that I try to remind myself of, could we just see depth? And that if this Red Sox team rolls into camp, you'd like to see one more power bat in the lineup. Coming from where we were with Trevor Story last year to where we are with Trevor Story now. Jarren Duran, who, again, I love the way he plays baseball. Fenway is going to lead to some stuff, and who knows where Roman Anthony lands on the Pantheon by the end of this season. I would be interested to see, could the Snakes do a Jarren Duran, Ketel Marte type trade? Again, there's I shouldn't say glaring weakness in Boston, but if you look at the lineup, the pitching's kind of ready to roll. Would they go for Bichette? Could they make a Ketel Marte trade? Do the Yankees, for some reason, give them Jazz Chisholm? Nico Horner rumors. Hey, there's second base, Brendan Donovan.
there's bodies for that
okay.
position.
For the Red Sox seemingly singular need, they have options to go to. So Red Sox kind of instantly save face on the Bregman situation. Again, there was layers to that Bregman situation, which we unpacked with Joe's and Carrabba's, that they still need to do more to make the fan base happy. But the Boston Red Sox, as of today, in the American League East, I couldn't tell you they're worse than the Yankees. I couldn't tell you they're worse than the Orioles. In theory, they shouldn't be better than the Blue Jays, but that's not really how baseball works. The Boston Red Sox added one of my favorite pitchers today, and that feels like a bad feeling. Being a Yankees fan, that I was wondering, we were going through some of the articles beforehand and what kind of episode should we give you. But with the Ranger Suarez breaking news, we said, hey, let's do that. And there is other news around it, including the Yankees traded for Ryan Weathers, which has Yankee fans now. I'll say this. We have a gentleman, Kevin, who works in our social media department. You may have seen him if you've watched some Warehouse games. He referees. He shows up in some different things. A very silly creature, Kevin is. I walked past a Max in our office, not Manis, another M last name, Yankee fan. And I was just like, hey, Ryan Weathers. And Max was like, yeah, good lefty arm. And Kevin, half jokingly, did say, what happened to this proud Yankees fan base? Again, yucking in the office type stuff. But the Yankees, Ryan Weathers is the first guaranteed roster spot they've given to someone from off the team last year. And I think part of the thing that is hurting, a fine transaction. Ryan Weathers is a major league lefty with a lot of arm talent. The Yankees traded a bunch of middling prospects for them that they like to do those deals. They still get to keep your top guys and see if they pan out. When earlier today, I was looking at the 2017 Futures game to see how many guys panned out. Of the 40 men on the rosters, there's about 7 that really would have stung you as a team. And that's the Futures game. That's like one of the best collections of prospects we get together. There was 7 out of 40 that if your team traded them away, you would have been mad. It's quick math there. 33 if you did trade them away. And the Yankees didn't even trade from that. Ryan Weathers has an injury history. A lot of pitchers do at this point. He's 26 years old, high 90s on the gun. Basically what Yankee fans are saying, like, even if he becomes a reliever for us, the value they paid to potentially have a high-end lefty reliever, which, just a reminder, go through the list. There's not a lot in this league. That would be a very worthwhile trade. If Ryan Weathers can be a starter for them, an extremely worthwhile trade. If he can be a starter partially and then a reliever, a good baseball transaction. It just has Yankee fans very much on edge, and I believe our guy Nick Turturro's coming in the office in a little bit, that I'm worried with the Boston Red Sox signing, the Yankees' only transaction being Ryan Weathers coming in, another AL East team improving, that I believe, I think this is something I was talking about with Jimmy. I forget if it was on Talking Yanks or not. The Yankees never had a World Series feel last year. They tied with the Blue Jays for the best record in the AL. So I even countered him on the episode because no one in the American League felt like the team last year. That was part of the storyline of the season. But the point of being the Yankees, supposedly the point of being the Yankees, Aaron Judge becoming 34, Cole becoming 35. I don't think you've improved the team. And it feels like other teams in the division are improving. That Yankee fans are sitting here. I think there's a lot of texts being sent in Yankees group chats like, what the hell is going on? And I guess the, challenge flag, break glass in case of emergency. There are 4 free agents left. Impact free agents, excuse me. And that's a little rude to a Chris Bassett.
Money.
Who could give you a nice year. The Yankees are highly linked to Bellinger. If that falls through, watch out. And then if that falls in, you have Yankee fans debating the contract value or the years or the worth, which, okay, that's be happy with the player you got, and you figure out some of that other stuff later as you get there. But that's a guy who was on the team last year. That's the Yankees getting back to where they were last year as not a feared team. The pitching staff has some real potential by middle to end of year, which the Yankees led offensively in home runs and OPS. I see the path, but it's not a clear path. It's not a great path. It's not it's not an exciting path. It's like there's a lot of puddles, and you didn't wear proper shoes. That feels like the Yankees' upcoming season. Orioles, we haven't talked about it a lot in a while because they did their work. The Blue Jays have done their work. Ernie Clement, Team USA, kind of the Drew Holiday role. That I don't know. As the calendar has turned, poetic. As the calendar has turned, it's the middle of January. Okay, Happy New Year. It's the middle of January. Snap. That's what it felt like. That means it's going to be February. That means it's going to be pitchers and catchers. WBC, we're daydreaming of baseball. And these Yankees daydreams and conversations right now just are not exciting. Doing a Talking Yanks episode, trying to hype ourselves up. But yeah, that feels off. I'm happy for Ranger Suarez. I'm happy for Red Sox fans, he said saltily. The AL Beast. Will it return? I like the Ryan Weathers move, but it could also be nothing. Ranger Suarez, you just made an investment into your team. I guess a no trade clause, huh?
I don't think
Haven't
so.
seen it.
And hey, we could learn that by the time this is out, but I haven't seen any funk on the deal.
That'd be a little stanky. No, it wouldn't, because they have Ranger Suarez on their team, and that's the goal. That is the goal, to put together the best team you can and win. The Arenado trade. I said I was going to talk about this. We did do it on Talking Baseball. I wish there was a deeper dive. Nolan Arenado has a lot of bad numbers. You might be shocked, if you were playing fantasy baseball while Nolan Arenado was a Rocky. If you were playing fantasy baseball while Nolan Arenado had an 8-WAR season with St. Louis, and then you checked out, you would be shocked where Nolan Arenado's numbers are now currently. And the St. Louis Cardinals are paying $30+ million for him to not play baseball with them for the next 2 seasons. So those are what Nolan Arenado's peripherals and stats told the Cardinals to do. There's some other things in there. He actually hit velo. So, okay, that's one of those things, like, if that goes, that goes. The other side of that is he was horrible against off-speed pitches. I mean, the on-base percentage started 2.8 for Nolan Arenado. That the Diamondbacks are taking a minimal risk for a starting Hall of Fame type baseball player. Arizona, traditionally a place to hit. Maybe something clicks and they get amazing value out of it. Maybe it doesn't, and Nolan Arenado teaches Jordan Lawler how to play third base better, and it's worthwhile in the long run. Bet on talent. I like bringing in, this is probably something we don't appreciate as the Yankees, and sometimes we even make fun of. The Yankees do love bringing in veterans with pedigrees. And, there's an organizational effect there. Having a guy like a Paul Goldschmidt in the locker room, having a Nolan Arenado in the locker room, there can be a really good ripple effect to seeing that work ethic or them just talking about the game. These guys are together every day. And if Nolan Arenado puts together a good couple months, who knows? Maybe he likes that Arizona sunshine. But this was another salary dump. The other side of it is the Cardinals have cleared house. Wilson Contreras, gone. Sonny Gray, gone. Nolan Arenado, gone. Like we just said, Brendan Donovan, this would not be a salary dump as he's a good baseball player, but the Cardinals, Chaim Bloom, they basically cleared house 3 salary dumps of impact players just to kind of open up playing time for other guys. And what's looking like a really hardcore St. Louis rebuild. And I wonder if Chaim is getting the credit he kind of deserves with some of this Boston core. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the next couple years play out, but I'll tell you what, and I don't know if I've ever said this about the NL Central. I think if you were picking a last place team right now in the NL Central, I think it's St. Louis. I think Pittsburgh has done enough that we think they can be something. The Cincinnati Reds backed their way into the playoffs last year. The Cubs, we kind of lauded where they are at, and the Brewers are the Brewers. That St. Louis has a very genuine chance to be the last place team in the NL Central this year. And I forget if it was here or Talking Baseball. There was a Cardinals fan that, I think it was the 30 for 30 teams. They were like, dude, you gave the Cardinals so much crap. Yeah, man, I think you're seeing something different. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Mason Wynn can be a nice ball player. I think Nootbaar, Donovan, nice ball players. The rotation doesn't currently look like it's built for 162. And I think that franchise is actively trying to rebuild in a significant way. I love baseball. I love the beauty of baseball. I love when a team comes together. I love when a player breaks out. Maybe Maybe Jordan Walker can have his Joe Adele moment this year and bust out. But I don't know, man. St. Louis seems to be in the bad place for this year, potentially a couple of them. So those were the biggest baseball transactions that have just happened. Excuse me. I guess we could talk about, again, what remains, even though we've done a little bit of it. There were some Kyle Tucker updates, so we can discuss that. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about Bernie Williams and Jonathan Tetelman last night, because I'll tell you what, people. I don't know if we knew what we were walking into, but I'll tell you two people that followed Jonathan Tetelman on Instagram today, and it was me and Big Baby David, because that man can sing like nothing I've heard before. Nothing. I've never seen
I've personally been in the vicinity of
Broadway shows and anything like that.
He can do whatever he wants.
And there were seats there, which means there's a chance that you could go on SeatGeek and get yourself tickets. Go see someone sing like JT. Or go see some sports people, because while the MLB offseason is rolling, NFL, man, some of those games. Coach Trev going out to Chicago this weekend. The NBA, we're here. Even the World Cup this summer. Huge shout out to SeatGeek. We have been partners with SeatGeek for years now, and they are the #1 rated ticketing app, and even better, people. We've got a code for you. JOMBOY10. JOMBOY 10. 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. 10% off any tickets with promo code JOMBOY10. Make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. Okay, so like we mentioned, Kyle Tucker is still out there. The rumors are getting more and more like it's going to be the tight, high-money contract. We did get a sourced rumor that the Mets are offering $50 million per season AAV. We believe that to be 3 years. We don't know about opt-outs. We don't know what else has been discussed there. But very interesting that people are really liking Kyle Tucker for a short period. They're not in love with Kyle Tucker for a long period right now. We'll see if that changes. I do think front offices talk. I won't throw this in the collusion pile. I just think there's a lot of very smart people in baseball that front offices are a tight network. Like, when you look at, if you're watching an NBA game and you look at the bench or the bench coaches, as a person that hasn't been locked in at the NBA, you show me an NBA coach's bench and I can name like 3 or 4 guys.
Most benches, you're going to recognize a guy or two.
Like Jeff Van Gundy's an assistant coach now. Golden State usually has 1 or 2 ex-coach. Like, they're all of the same fraternity that one of them ends up on the sideline for a couple years, Kenny Atkinson, and then they get their next opportunity. That front offices, I think, are of the same ilk. Like, if you get to a certain level of being an MLB front office, you know those other guys at a certain level, and then when your opportunity comes or goes, you talk to those guys. I think that we are a couple years removed from front offices not necessarily believing in the long-term contracts, but I think they believed in keeping a lower AAV. I think there was instead of signing Kyle Tucker for 4 years at $50 million that we're talking right now, I feel like if Kyle Tucker was a free agent a couple years ago, we would be talking about Kyle Tucker at 8 years for $38 million or something like that, like spreading it out just a little more. That I now think front offices are expecting these contracts to end so badly, they'd rather just get it done with and get it off the books. I think there's enough logic there that makes sense. Again, there's also a Kyle Tucker side to this conversation that, hey, when Judge was a free agent, teams weren't afraid to go there. Generational. Juan Soto, generational. Tucker, feel real good. Generational is a very big compliment, and it's no shade at King Tuck. And I hope he proves me wrong, and he is generational. But yeah, he is in a very interesting part of his free agency where there's rumors that the Dodgers are still involved, Toronto, and what's looking like a 4-year tight window, crazy AAV, which, okay, I mean, is there an argument that I've been making this whole time, and there could be some egg on my face that I was like, hey, the way Kyle Tucker performs, the age he's going to hit free agency at, I've been saying Kyle Tucker's going to be a $400 million player for a little while now. It's not looking that way currently. And maybe that's this contract, and maybe he does the opt-out game that we have seen work out for a lot of people at this point. Snell, Chapman, Pete Alonso is now on that list. There's a couple other in there. Belly is about to be on that list, I believe. That Kyle Tucker might be going at it a slightly different way. But, man, I mean, if his final contract is 4 years, $200 million, and Kyle Tucker still wants to keep playing baseball. I don't know if there's an opt-out in there. I don't know if you need an opt-out. Like, I remember when Ian Happ signed his contract, and we were, a little bummed out because we wanted the Yankees to sign Ian Happ as their switch-hitting left fielder, suave-looking. Change the beard policy, Ian. Maybe think about it.
Can stay hot
for more than a second. Ian Happ, he secured the bag, so we never knock that. But he took a 3-year deal that took up his age 29, 30, and 31 season. In a way, it was Ian Happ securing a bag for himself, and it was Ian Happ giving himself a chance at another bag. If Ian Happ has his kind of standard 4-WAR season, play a lot of defense, have a 120 OPS plus, Ian Happ going to get another bag. Kyle Tucker could go do that same thing if he wants. Or if there are real questions about who he is as a baseball rat type person, hey, instead of some of the dark thoughts kicking in when you're at year 4 of a 9-year deal, maybe it's just a good deal and both sides can walk away kind of happy, and then you could do what you want from there. So let's see what goes on there. It feels like there's a battle going on for Bichette right now. Phillies, are the Red Sox still in? I keep hearing some Yankees rumors, but it feels like Bichette's going to end up in a ballpark that's different. The Dodgers were originally rumored on Bichette. Haven't heard a lot of that. Could there be another team in the woodwork? It feels like there is a Bichette market. He just met with the Phillies. How is that going to flush out? And then what could be a wrinkle in all of this unfortunately has led me back to my Yankees. If Cody Bellinger does not sign with the Yankees, I don't know what that front office is going to do. They haven't been in the Kyle Tucker race. I don't know what trade opportunities are out there or will still be out there. I realize I've spun this back to the Yankees, but that's because the dark thoughts are winning right now. And I don't love that. I do not love that. So let's see what goes on with the rest of those free agents. Update on Bernie Williams and Jonathan Tetelman. I know we already told you. Pretty amazing. Amazing show. Me, BBD, Zach, and Matty Mass, a Dangerous Nights crew of sorts. Got together, got semi-dressed up. Enough, not over the top. We're not trying to steal the show from anyone. And yeah, Carnegie Hall, which I've heard before, hadn't been. How do I say this politely? Nothing about Carnegie Hall felt over the top. I'm not trying to say,
obviously nice.
Nice, but not like, you walk in and you're whispering to each other whoa, Carnegie Hall. So, okay, sorry for starting there.
Maybe we're wrong.
We also went through a side entrance, not in a cool way. We got yelled at. It ended up working out.
Yeah, we went out the front entrance, and maybe that would have felt
a little more
special
grandeur.
Coming in. It was a nice lobby.
It was a nice lobby. Maybe that's on us. We kind of get settled in. We get there probably a half hour early. Susan Waldman getting mobbed by people. We let her go. Coney, I do regret that one.
We thought we were going to make eye contact with him, and then it just kind of didn't happen.
Should have said hi to David Cohn. That's on me.
We could have jumped him.
Should have said hi to both. Should have said hi to everyone. You start sitting down, and you're like, okay, show at Carnegie Hall, Bernie Williams, all right. From there, all of it, we're flipping through the little handbook they give you before the show. Looking through it, they list kind of the songs they were going to play. It wasn't everything. It wasn't in order, but I don't know. I guess it was what they were thinking about playing at some point. And then I saw there was an intermission. And I don't know, just honest here. I don't go to a lot of shows, but you're like, whoa, this might be...
Is this going to be long?
This might be a lot of music. And it's Bernie Williams, and that's cool, but also what have I signed up for? Bernie comes out, place is going nuts. Bernie Williams chants. There's some bleacher creatures in attendance. Definitely probably a unique feel for Carnegie Hall. The other gentleman headlining this event, Jonathan Tetelman. You want to talk about stealing the show. This guy, 38 years old, handsome as all hell, walks out onto the middle of the stage with confidence that most of us can only dream of. And this is coming from a person that I can stumble into some blind confidence. Like if I stepped into the batter's box for one MLB at bat, I would be like, you know what, dude? You might just run into one right now. Like kind of just cock back and swing it. Tetelman comes on stage and sings full opera voice. And just impressive notes, notes I've never heard in person. I mean, he is fully letting it eat out there. A couple classic songs, they kept saying the names. It's just songs you hear and stuff, and you don't know what it's from, but you've just heard it your whole life.
Like a few of them, like the West Side Story one was like, oh, I knew that specific song, but the other ones are like, oh, that's what that's called?
Yeah, I mean, Maria was listening. New York at the end. Obviously, people.
They had to.
Come on. But no, I'm talking the classical songs that if you read it on a piece of paper, you'd be like, oh, no, I'm not familiar with that. And then they played literally the first three notes, and you're like, oh, I have heard this song my entire life. And yeah, it was just an experience. Katia Lindor on the violin. So we got some baseball touch points everywhere. Francisco in attendance with the kids. We got Stephen Marbury.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan,
yeah.
Because I just hit him with a Stefan, but that's clearly Curry, and he's just rebranding that whole name a little bit. Stefan Marbury. Starberry. And just another mix of odds and ends. That, I think intermission kind of hit at the right time. You're like 45 minutes deep that you're, okay, I could take a little breather. And then from there is another 45 minutes, and it was good. Bernie ripped. I mean, I don't have the guitar ears to tell you, he wasn't doing over-the-top Kiss concert laying on the stage or anything like that, but he was ripping. And then, Tetelman, and they had a couple other singers that came out that were extremely talented. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is your sign if you're someone that only consumes Wake and Jake. One, I love you. And I bet opera's probably not right in your wheelhouse. Maybe find a show. Find a cheap ticket to something. Give it a try.
It's fun to try different things out,
And if the Tet is around. I don't think that's
Tet's in town.
I don't think that's my last Jonathan Tetelman show.
I feel like I'm going to get back in.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was impressive. The places that he got his voice to. End of the night, I think there was supposed to be an after party. It's a Tuesday. That we went on our different paths. Instead of trying to hunt down Bernie at the after party. And then what do I say? Remind him that I'm the guy we talked to once and my mom used to joke you were my dad. I don't know if he wants that on show night. Maybe he does. Maybe he really likes that on show night, and maybe we just become really close. puts his arm around me. None of that happened. There will be playoff football this weekend. I can walk you through it briefly, just a reminder to myself. Am heading up to the mountains, Vermont. I don't think I'm skiing. We'll see. We'll see. TBD. There is a dog coming with us, Butter. That Butter shouldn't be left alone all day. That maybe we figure something out there. Cute dog, little Pomeranian. Just in your lap and you don't notice. Just nice. Bring him to the bar. You're going to be okay.
They'll blend in nice.
Butter's not going to cause a scene. Shout out Butter. Let's see. Toronto versus Indiana tonight. No. Let's go to the NIFL. As you know, at the NFL. Holiday weekend, kind of. MLK.
Yeah, I just had to bump new EA Claire because I'd put something on the calendar for Monday, and I said, "Oh, that's Martin Luther King Day."
Yeah, are we not coming in?
Yeah, we might not have. I was wondering why there wasn't an ad listed on the episode.
Interesting.
And then literally this morning, Jolly said, "By the way, the thing you tried to put on my calendar, that is for this show."
How about that? Tier list season.
I'm not coming in Monday. That makes sense.
Wow, that might change my schedule. That is my schedule. Anyways, you'll be watching NFL this weekend. It's arguably the best weekend of NFL football. And golly gee, I'm excited for it. That's not how people talk, Jake. It's just not this era. It starts out with my ponies. How do you like that? The Denver Broncos will host the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen. This is his chance. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. That Broncos defense, though. Man, Josh Allen got beat up in that Jaguars game. It was like tough to watch for a little bit, but it was also amazing, and it's part of the reason, if the Bills pull this off, nobody's going to be shocked because they have the baddest man left in the postseason and the best quarterback in the game right now. I know I still get uncomfortable saying that because of what Mahomes represented, but Josh Allen's the 1-1 right now. That him and the Bills coming to Denver. And I think the other honest thing around it, the Broncos having a delightful season as the 1 seed. I say this every year, and the NFL has this every year. There's a team that wins a ton of games that it turns out they're not those guys. I don't want to bring that energy to my Broncos right now. The defense is real. Mile High is real. The offense has been – I'm a Bo Lever. That Green Bay game really won me over, the way he performed in that game. But to say Josh Allen and the Hungry Bills can't come in and win a game and the Broncos can't have a little, pardon my French, poop in their pants, they obviously could. Bye weeks in sports, we talk about with the college playoffs and the football sometimes. If you get off to a bad step and the Bills were to get a nice little lead on you, do you believe in Bo Nix dropping back every play? I don't know. On the other side of that, the problem that Josh Allen and the Bills have, besides Josh Allen being banged up, and we'll see what that looks like or feels like, this Bills team is not that good. That Bills defense has some tough moments. The guys Josh Allen is throwing to in these games, when Brandon Cooks started showing up a couple weeks ago, everyone was like, what? Really? The same guy? His whole career's been like that. That guy feels like a Jolly Olive football video. From being kind of a one receiver, undersized, to just being on a different team every year. Anyways, and he looks good. Like, I'm not trying to knock Brandon Cooks right now, but he's like their best option. It's him or it's Shakir in a screen, and they're just kind of figuring it out. That I don't know. Despite everything I just said as the precursor, but I don't want to peel it back too much because our friends. I think the betting line on this is Denver -1.5. So, like, the odds makers, who we know they don't mess around with the money, that is a real deal matchup. The other game on that day, Niners Seahawks. These Niners, Man, the injuries that they've had this season, the fact that they won last week's game against the Eagles, losing George Kittle in that game, just brutal, but it's become the corny sports thing to say, but this is one of Shanahan's most impressive coaching jobs. Heading into Seattle, Seattle coming off the bye week, and this is the difference, everything I just laid out, because you could say that stuff about almost any team usually, like, oh, they get off to a slow start off the bye week. Seahawks are a touchdown favorite. And I think the last time we saw Seattle, 14-3, we saw them confidently take down the Niners 13-3. Although I guess that 13 doesn't jump off the sheet, but part of the reason it does is because they held the Niners to 3 points. Seattle's defense may be the most underrated unit in football. Everyone's talking about Houston's defense. Seattle is in the same realm as them. I don't know. I think the Niners have a fun thing to root for here. Purdy has always had, Mr. Irrelevant, literally. The injuries they've had, you don't see a lot of mighty underdog Niner teams with the consensus favorite head coach with the best running back. Like, that's not kind of how they've been looked at. They are looked at that way. We'll see if they get any good injury updates coming out. Fred Warner's running around, but they said he's not going to be in it. But a little NFC West football, that'll be fun. So that is your Saturday. On Sunday, it's Patriots, Texans. That Texans defense that everyone is scared of. Drake May and the Pats kid coming off the dominant win over the Chargers, who, my God, they just abused Justin Herbert. That was tough to watch after a little bit. I don't know. I talk about it openly. The Patriots bring out a little bit of sports hate in me. I don't really know what it is. Like, everything I tell you guys about the Broncos and how I wish I could sink my teeth in more, I still have a gear with the Patriots where I'm just like, I do not like them. I don't know if it's how spoiled they were as a fan base or the combination of Red Sox fans and Patriot fans. Drake May had an amazing season. I actually love Rabel. What he represents as a head coach, how could you not want that? The running back combination and where that's landed is fun for me. The Texans, I don't know. I think we're either going to look back and we'll be like, oh my God, like the Texans, CJ Stroud had 6 fumbles and an interception. That was tough to watch for a little bit. Is he going to do that again against New England? Because then New England's going to win by 30. Or is this one of those football coachable moments that the Texans can clean it up for a week and you might have a great game on your hands? This will be the test. I know people were tough on the Patriots' schedule. Whoever wins this game, I think, becomes the favorite out of the AFC. So that's your 3 p.m. And then the nightcap, Trevor Plouffe in Chicago with Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford and the Rams playing the Bears. Caleb Williams, how did they win that game? Green Bay. Hey, a shout out to Caleb. He's become, if nothing, a dynamic weapon at quarterback, which how many guys around the league can you say that about? The Rams are favorites in Chicago. People really want to see Rams, Seahawks. Sports doesn't always work like that. We're the 3 best teams in the NFC, all in the NFC West. And what do the Bears have up their sleeve, man? I was listening to some different football people today, Nate Tice, and they were like, man, what the Bears have is kind of some of the weak spots of the Rams. The Rams trying to road dog this whole thing as they survive a Carolina game that a lot of people didn't think would be close again and was. I think we get an old-fashioned shootout, man. Bears D is bad. I think Stafford's on this kind of legendary run, including befriending the Plouffes. And the Bears and Caleb, they got nothing but firepower. They play for the big play. They throw it downfield. They like the explosives. That's Ben Johnson's signature, that if that is the accumulation of this sports weekend Sunday night, 6:30, so not even late, people. You can watch all the football this weekend. That we'll see you there as it tees up the AFC and the NFC championship games the following Sunday. As this football season, people, you want to play the scary game? I'll play it. The scary game is, how many more football games are there in this season? There are 4 this weekend. There are 2 the next weekend. There is 1 2 weekends after. If you are a football person, that maybe you get your baseball fill over here, maybe you're a sports person, like little old me, there are 7 NFL football games left this year and 1 college. Get ready. Sooners, Hurricanes. So 8 football games. And then we're going to be NBA, hockey to get you through the nights, college hoops, or tier lists and other Wake and Jake episodes as we grind it to the WBC, spring training, the rest of the free agent signings, and we love you. Go Sports. Make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend. All that jazz. And we will see you next week on Wake and Jake. We'll see what day. There'll be something.